Wild Man by M.R. Mays. Chapter 1. The Path That Reveals. 7 stories, that's how far I fell, am falling. Something tells me there's more to it all once I hit the ground. Still, a piece of me knows I will just be red paint in a moment. A long moment. It drags on and on. When? When will it happen? I try to regain focus for a moment, like I have time to reflect on my life. I only have time to think these pointless thoughts as I brush past the custodians cleaning the building, working the graveyard shift. Maybe they noticed the flash of human waste that shot across the window like peach lightning. Maybe they just didn't care. Still falling. Has time slowed? Or am I this impatient to meet the ground? I need to know if it was all for nothing. It must be for nothing. None of this can matter, or else I'm carrying a burden into the afterlife. And that is how Ghost is made. Ghost. Who would I haunt? I am ready for the light. Where is the light? Wait, I see it. Oh, praise Jesus, goddamn Nazareth and Savior. There is a heaven. It's so bright, I'm certain a crowd of angels await my arrival. Elaine. Elaine must be there. She was the purest person I knew. She was the most beautiful human inside and out. Oh God, she must be there, or else I don't want in. Spare me the monstrosity of living another moment without my Elaine. It's your fault. You took her from me, and now you're taking me, you son of a bitch. Leave me alone. You can't have me. I won't give you the satisfaction. Release me. Duke roars at the heavens with the last raspy ring in his throat. Dehydrated from his body being in chaos mode for hours, the last breath in his lungs cursed the gods of modern religions. He hated gods, he hated angels, he hated demons, and most of all he hated humans. Duke cried as his last thoughts of his wife brings him to the worst moments of his life. Time stops. Duke is transported from that place in our minds, the place that controls how we perceive reality. His reflections lead him at his wife's side, even if only in memory. He's holding her hand, and although she makes the motions, he feels no strength in her grip. She is awake, but she's asleep as well. It's the medicine they gave her, he gave her. Her body was failing, and Hippocrates' oath meant nothing when the doctor stole her mind. And for what? Money? Research? Science? What good is anything? What good is anyone if she's still dying? Duke. Adrenaline surges. His heart skips a beat as his lover speaks her final words. The first words she had spoken in 3 days. Duke. Yes, my love. Duke, are you there? Can you hear me? I can't see you, darling. Where are you? Elaine, baby, I'm right here. Follow my voice. Feel my touch. I'm here, and I love you. Duke. Oh, Duke, I can hear you. I feel your hands. Can you hear me? Yes, darling. Please tell me how I can make you more comfortable. Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Duke, there's something inside me. I know, honey. We'll figure this out. There's still time. You just need to hold on. It's not that. I can feel that, and it's horrible. It feels like the world, no, the universe itself has ended right inside me. Duke cries. He was already holding on by a thread, but this pain she described became the crack in the dam which held back an ocean. It's not that, Duke. It's something else. It might even be hope. I just don't know. Elaine coughs. Blood splatters across the white sheets. Duke sees blood on his sleeve and composes himself, remembering he must be strong for his wife. Tell me, Elaine. Something speaks through me. Something or someone. Oh, Duke, is it God? Please let this be something divine and not my mind collapsing around the final bend. The lights flicker as she speaks these last words. Duke gets a migraine as his wife seems to magically gain her strength just long enough to deliver her final words. Duke, Elaine, go back to work. Outside of the room, a young boy, nearly a man in his mind, listened attentively as his mother spoke her last words to his father. He wasn't his real father. His mother was raped, and because of her beliefs he was born, and now she is dead. Such is life, so he thought. Things weren't always so doom and gloom, even thought to himself. When he was born, the whole world seemed innocent enough. His father and mother loved him so, and he was a happy baby. Even further on, things were relatively tame. He wasn't beaten. He wasn't abused in any shape or form. He simply received experiences differently. His perspective was a funnel, and life itself was being poured into it. but something else was as well. After Ewan was born, although his life was fine, he resented everything in it, and yet time kept moving forward and nothing would become of his buried opinions. He loved his father, he loved his mother, but now she was dead, and so was his world. Ewan Burnham, son of Duke, and Elaine Burnham, was born in Bathurst, New Brunswick, where his father was from. Elaine was from Ontario, but spent her formative years in the opposite coast of Vancouver Islands. The year was 1991, and it was a vicious winter. The two lovers met while Duke was attending the Regent's Film School. She was a barista at the local Amsterdam cafe. However, there was a significant moment, a terrible but significant moment, that occurred while Duke was away for work. They had been living in a small city called Moncton. What Moncton lacked in numbers, it made up for in creative population, but creativity doesn't come without malice. And during their stay there, while attending a rock show in the downtown region, Elaine was assaulted and raped. This malice held in the savage creatures known as men would destroy a part of Elaine forever. Such destruction was compensated with a faith in a higher power, a power that must correct such atrocities when their time comes. Elaine recovered, but alongside her psychological turmoil, a seed of hope was born, a seed that could only ever have been cared for and loved with the inclination there was more to life than pain. There must be more to life than pain. Elaine kept her baby, a mysterious box of DNA combined with the house of love, adoration, and experience derived from the controlled environments provided by his parents. No way was true malice going to find a home in this boy. No way will it make its way past the ancient but impassable wall that is a mother's love, not her boy. Perhaps it was because the Burnhams moved so often that time seemed to move faster than normal, whatever that may be. Before they could even grow accustomed to calling themselves parents, their boy was starting school. Before they could finish reflecting on their days at school, they were watching their son's first football game, his first day at high school, his first heartbreak. Everything seemed normal. He was a normal boy, and a good boy who lost his mother, and with that his whole world came apart. Worse than Ewan's moral compass was Elaine's deathbed, a makeshift hospital rendering in the living room of a basement apartment in the not-so-nice end of Moncton. Elaine was a strange woman who took her convictions beyond serious. She would create illogical reasoning behind her. Choices, as if to justify if it again wasn't for the lack of logic, like smoking twice as much when your throat was sore, as if to show your throat who's boss, or like living in the city you were raped, as if facing evil head-on might make it any less so. It was a normal day, just like any other. Ewan was at school, Duke was at work, at the nearby grocery store, sometimes the cashier, sometimes pushing carts. On the occasion, the deli would ask for his help, and so began the era of Duke's sandwiches that only his family would enjoy. It may as well have been the whole world. Elaine was a poet, the kind that never published her work. She showed no one, not even Duke, not even Ewan. She read them to Ewan when he was born, when Duke was still working and traveling as a filmmaker. It was on this normal day in 2012 that Elaine suddenly fell to the floor. She was asleep to all that would see her at that moment, but inside she was running for her life. This was her first hallucination, a dream so real a person's heart could stop or their brain turned to vegetable. I believe you have a rare disease, a disease so rare we haven't given it a name yet. However, we're certain it's there. It's been showing up all over the world, first only in men, now women. I have theories. Boy, do I have theories. But this isn't the time for that. I'm here to treat you and Elaine. Dear, can you hear me, Elaine? Duke aided his wife, staring at a blank spot on the wall like the last battle of the last World War was right in front of her. Elaine, honey, the doctor is talking to you. Duke places his hand on her lap, but it's his concern and affection that brings her back to reality. Who are you? The doctor grins as if the whole situation amuses him. Why, I'm your doctor, Dr. Ulrich Nelson. I've been treating you for the last 2 years. You were referred when your doctor couldn't provide you an accurate diagnosis. I'm something of a specialist in treating cases like yours. Cases like hers. Duke covers for Elaine, who seems to hold some distrust towards the doctor, as if a wild fox cornered by humans for the first time. Oh yes, cases when majority variables are left unknown or at least undiscovered. I work with an elite tier of scientists and engineers. We have many projects in the bleeding edge realm of science. We deal with the future of humanity, but even the greatest crusades require a start. I'm here now in your town to help common folks such as yourselves get through what would otherwise be an innumerable set of trials, all of which would end in grief. Alas, I want to help your wife, Mr. Burnham. I will save her. I know it. Oh, doctor, nothing would make me and our son happier, but such a service cannot be affordable to us. I'm minimum wage at the local shopper here, and even that is only part-time. All it would cost is your signature. My signature. Or hers, if she is of sound mind, that is. Dear Elaine, are you prepared for your adventure here at my clinic? We're going to find what ails you, and we will destroy it. Dr. Ulrich clenches his fist in front of Elaine's face as if a child about to take on the school bully. Elaine spits in his face, but the doctor breaks a smile through the spit that runs across his face. He smiles and slides the consent form in Duke's direction. Splendid. Ewan was the observer of their lives. He watched his parents have their petty fights. Not petty as in how low they stooped, but petty in how they shouldn't even bothered. It was a joke compared to what a real fight looked like, the fights that create wedges so strong no amount of years can mend. Here he was, still observant. He didn't have to be in the room to know the outcome. His mother would receive a prescription that contained a cocktail of chemicals so complicated and random it could be DNA itself. It would contain something addictive that didn't need to be there, and that drug would sell across Western civilization like a plague, except this plague we welcome into our homes. It was unfortunate later that evening, and for the many torturous days to follow, unfortunate that Ewan could be so wrong. This wasn't chemicals created in a lab, this was an experiment concocted simultaneously. The mysterious illness took hold of the world. It was the yin to its deadly yang, chaos and order intertwined with each other. Something universes at large are made of. When they concocted this experiment in 2012, Ulrich had an associate. This associate took things to another level and extracted what he believed to be antimatter. He called it compound paradox. 3 years later, in the low-key office building on the main intersection of the city, Elaine was prescribed CP in tiny pills with an orange stripe across the capsule. CP was officially on the market. 1 pill once a day. Call me in 3 weeks. I'll schedule for checkup. Side effects include euphoria, hallucinations, and a sense of oneness with your surroundings. And that's just what we have recorded to this date. Oh, you might lose your navigational bearings. This too is to be expected. Do not be alarmed. I assure you anything you may face from this prescription will be better than, well, death. Thank you, Doctor. We'll see you in 3 weeks. Very good, sir, Duke. You take care of this lovely family of yours. Ulrich notices Ewan as they exit from the room. And you, good lad. Ewan's eyes dart over to Ulrich and set him back a moment. The doctor could see a vast ocean of nothingness inside the boy's eyes. An ocean that led to an equally vast abyss. He needed to know how far it went. What made it tick? And what connection does he have with such a depth? You just keep doing what you're doing. The family makes it through the second set of doors and Ulrich speaks to himself. Don't change a single thing. The Burnhams began their new life with CP. It began just like the doctor predicted. First, euphoria, a sense of oneness with her surroundings. Ewan paid close attention to his mother during their supper meals together. Everyone was busy with their 9-to-5s. This was how the world worked. You are born, you are prepared, and you are distributed into your proper placement. You may gather around large meals, but otherwise we stay in our homes, in our own rooms. Mealtime was like going to the zoo for Ewan. He watched his parents closely, analyzed them, read their behaviors, and thought what the normal thought routine would be. From a normal child to see his parents living in a world built upon decay and ruin. We sweep it all under the rug, light it on fire, all our waste and unwanted, burn them, bury them, drown them. What boy can watch his mother, who once was the earth and trees, the wind and sun, and now there are spaces behind her eyes, large spaces that hide a horrendous dream-like prison. Inside Elaine's eyes, approximately 3 weeks after taking the drugs she was prescribed, the morning before her meeting, she would have an episode like none before. She was trapped in a large labyrinth of a building. None of the doors would open, and behind her was darkness. Humans have always feared darkness. This is the innate fear. We are born with this fear and have passed it down for as many generations as we've had. We fear what we do not know. We fear for what might jump out, may it be a lion, a poisonous spider, and snakes. But those times have gone, and in its place something far worse, far more devious and omniscient in maliciousness, She could sense she was being chased by a human. A few seconds would pass before she would snap out of it and she would be at the supper table. First, the fork would become clear. She could make out what type of food they were having. A moment later, at this point, all her senses come back to a reasonable state. It's here she sees her son staring into her eyes. Ewan, Elaine reaches across the table and touches his hand. For a moment, for the time it takes a match to burn, Ewan felt a warm island emerge from his vast empty ocean. Some days, although not most, Ewan could physically see his mother being sucked into the Quantum Hotel. He could not bear witness to such a place, but he knew. This knowledge came from a place connected to the hotel's shadow which consumed its hallways. The day Elaine met with her doctor, Ulrich, Elaine fell deep within her psychosis. Only this time the darkness was waiting both sides of the hallways. She stood there. As they closed on both sides, the fear became intolerable and energy had to be derived to keep the most basic systems ongoing. Her legs gave out as they no longer became relevant to staying conscious. The black kept its pace. Closer, closer still. Blackness consumed Elaine like a thick oil, like the vacuum of space itself sucked her voice from her while she screamed Duke's name. It was dark. Thoughts roamed, but she had no sight. Nothing could be heard, nor could she sense a single thing. The only thing that remained was thought itself. I need something from you. For the first time in a long time, Elaine felt healthy and of sound mind. Who the fuck is there? What's happening? Well, the spirit has no doubt returned to you. Who I am is not relevant at this intersect. I'm here to make a deal with you. How's this for a deal? Return me to my family this instance, or I'll shove my fist so far up your ass you... Suddenly, for the first time, Elaine could see nothing. A portal opened, or a circle. Something about the shape her mind could not understand. All the same, she could see her husband crying. It was their bedroom. Another monitor from the darkness arose, but they appeared two-dimensional, as if she were looking down on a computer screen. It was Ewan, standing on the other side of the wall. The island was gone. She could see this clearly. She could also see it would not return. Are you calm? What do you want? I told you I want to make a deal, but to be frank, I need your help. Now, I will show myself, so we can speak reasonably. Are you okay with that? Do what you gotta, guy. Yes, that will suffice. A grey explosion occurred, this time not as a floating monitor, but right in front of Elaine. It seemed like a magician was introducing himself at the local pub, but what came after was horrendous, yet interesting. It appeared as a blob to Elaine's eyes. Every time she adjusted her vision, it would turn into a blurb again. This battle went tit for tat throughout their conversation. Only during times of extreme multitasking would she make out a solid form. This form itself, of times, was a color she could not recognize. Do not stress your eyes, or else your mind will punish you. I have a human avatar for such an occasion, if it will make you more comfortable. No, I can handle it. Just get to your business. What do you want? I will spare you the nuances, Elaine. There is pure evil afoot, a metaphysical distortion unlike anything I've ever seen. It started not only in your universe, not only in your galaxy or your planet. This town we're in right now is the place of great creation and destruction. Sounds natural. It would be if it weren't for the transdimensional issue I'm about to get to. Sir Blurb, please get to it. Elaine gestured to the blurb as if he could understand something such as sarcasm. I can understand sarcasm. I am not as absent-minded on approach of foreign species without thorough research. Elaine was taken back. In what world? First, the creature has no form, and now it reads minds. As you said, I can read minds. Now shall we get back to the matters at hand? Elaine waited attentively. I need two things from you. First, I need you to tell me about the first time you visited the darkness. I know this will be difficult, but I need you to do it nonetheless. Second, I need you to tell your husband to get back to work. What do you mean, get back to work? Details such as those are not important. What is important is that we handle this quickly. You're about to sober up. I have so many questions. Well, I'm not an encyclopedia and we're short on time. Lord, why must you humans be so difficult? You can call being called difficult something of a trigger for Elaine. She had such aim with what she was about to say, however, like the strange being had predicted, time had run short. Elaine returned to the supper table again, this time a different day. First the fork, chicken stir-fry. Eden was there, staring. Sweetie, how are you feeling today? I'm fine. Sweetie? When is the meeting with Dr. Ulrich? Elaine? Duke seemed worried. Even after serial repetition, the sincerity remained intact. Ewan cracked a smile that Elaine recognized immediately as a defense mechanism her son developed in reconciliation with the depth of his sadness. My poor boys, did I worry you? We're fine, Elaine. We seen you black out for a second. We couldn't understand it. You stood still, sitting as you were, and finally, your eyes rolled back like you were about to. I don't know, but it was worrying for the both of us. Just tell us how you're feeling. I'm fine. I'm a little tired. I'll probably get some rest now. You boys carry on without me. Elaine smiles, a sincerely fatigued smile. She walks to her room when Duke calls behind her. You already had your appointment. It was this afternoon. They know. They know I'm not riding the head. Get some rest, honey. We love you. The island emerges. The three create a Caribbean amongst the dining room. One island's warmth begets another. No one can remain submerged when the mother of the house is in high spirits. Life was flat for the Burnhams until it all wasn't. The mysterious illness, drugs from the dimensions, visitors from afar. All was like the normal struggles of normal families. Can't pay the bills or can't stand my kid. Life goes on, but for the Burnhams it was ending. It was ending quickly and it was ending violently. Duke, yes, honey. Something speaks through me. Something or someone. Oh, Duke, is it God? Please let this be something divine and not my mind collapsing around the final bend. Elaine was confused. She was surrounded by her dearest loved ones, but felt alone. The air disappeared from the room long before the heat, after which was nothing. Nothingness. Goddamn nothingness. You're right about one thing, sweet Elaine. A sensation like nothing felt before. The lights finally went out along with the air and the warmth. Just a low, deep voice crackling in the deepest parts of the dark. God is damned and so are you. Welcome to my home. Welcome to my domain. A voice suddenly emerged in Elaine's head, louder than what was before her. Tell your husband, tell him quickly. Without a single movement, Elaine entered a frantic rush. Her mind felt split into a multitude, and in a single breath the room returned to a regular homemade hospital room. She didn't know why. What she did know was that the voice instructing her to deliver a message was far more likely to be on her side than the voice cursing her from the dark. And so, she said, with her last dying breath, go back to work.